Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here. So today, we're going to talk about high achievers aren't afraid to ask questions. We're continuing to talk about what we can learn from successful people, and I love to watch and learn from those who are successful. It doesn't matter if they're in my business or some other business. I just believe that success leaves clues, and if we watch what successful people do, we can learn a lot from them. And most success habits are the same no matter what business you're in, right? You're successful because of what you do, not necessarily because of what business you're in. But hey, one of the things that high achievers do is they ask questions, lots of them. And one of the worst things that you can do for yourself is to refuse to ask questions. There's lots of reasons why people don't like to ask questions. They might be worried about the answer. They might not want to look foolish. And for some people, they might even think that taking help from others makes them worse at what they're doing. And for some of us, it stems. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I actually ask too many. But I do remember in elementary school, the person who always has their hand up, right, asking the questions is the ones that the kids make fun of. So maybe there's a deep-seated fear that comes from that, from when you're a child. But I talk about fear a lot in my daily Facebook Lives, and fear seems to control so much of our lives, and we need to learn to let it go. Most of these reasons why people won't ask questions center around that fear, right? Hi, Pamela. Good morning. Sorry to hear you've been sick. I hope you're feeling better. But seriously, being afraid to ask questions or wanting to ask questions can hold you back in your business. It can hold you back in your job. It can hold you back in your life. In fact, most people who have become successful are consistently asking questions to get help wherever they can take it, right? Asking questions doesn't make you stupid, and it certainly doesn't mean that you're bad at your job. In fact, it would probably be far more foolish to continue with your work, even though you might not know what you're doing is viable or not, right? If you're not sure what you're doing, continuing on that path of doing it wrong, that's actually probably more foolish than what you might look like if you ask the question, right? So by not asking questions, you're going to be stuck flailing around trying to figure out what you're going to do for much longer than you need to. So yes, there can come a time when you could be asking too many questions. I still say that asking questions is almost always a good thing. But then where you have to be careful is that sometimes it can get to a point where other people around you might be annoyed that you're not taking quite enough initiative. So, because, highly successful people, they ask a lot of questions, but they're not needy. They're not needy by any means, right? And hi, Heather. Good to see you. So, you have to take responsibility. You have to try it first yourself, and you have to ask intelligent questions, not just hey, what do I do, right? So ask, and then asking questions doesn't always mean calling a person and asking them. You can ask questions of yourself. You can go to Google and do some research. It's asking a question sometimes is as simple as you're sick and you go to the doctor, right? That's another form of asking a question. Or you don't know how to do something and you Google it, right? Doesn't necessarily mean you call somebody or you text somebody and just ask a question right away, right? So basically, essentially, you probably shouldn't go around asking questions as soon as you encounter any kind of resistance, but rather do some research first. If you're just learning how to do something and you don't just jump on the phone or text somebody saying, what's next, right? Figure it out a little bit first. So say, for example, you're experiencing a problem with your computer, or maybe you're trying to do something you haven't done before on your computer. So, for example, let's say I wanted to create a PowerPoint, right, with an animated object in it. And I have a pretty good understanding of PowerPoint, but maybe I'm not quite sure how to create that animation that I want. So I'll go to Google and I'll search for animations in PowerPoint, and most likely I'll find a video that shows me exactly how to do what I'm doing. That's usually the first thing I do. The first thing I do is not pick up the phone and call somebody, how do I do this, right? So then if I continue to struggle, I might call someone that I know who's an expert at PowerPoint, and ask them about it, and then let them know what I already tried. I might tell them what I did to create the animation, and it's kind of being animated, but it's still not quite doing what I wanted it to do. And do you have any ideas on how to get it to do that kind of thing, right? And doing that first by doing a little bit of research and figuring out what you're doing, that does two things. It helps when you ask for help. It helps them narrow down faster what it is you're asking them and what you've tried. And it also shows them that you've already put in some initiative. So sometimes I get texts or emails from my team asking me blanket questions, such as I'll get a text, seriously, from a team member saying, how do I build my business online? Well, seriously, that's not exactly something I can just answer in a sentence, right? Or a paragraph. In fact, that's kind of a long-term learning process, right? We're all learning that, right? So I have a training blog that I've created for my team. And well, it's for any Avon representative who needs help. That blog is there for everybody. That's my onlinebeautybiz.com blog. But hey, I answer their question by sending them to a blog post that will help them. So, they ask me a question. I'm having a hard time getting customers. How do I get more customers? And I have a blog post about 100 ways to find new customers. So I'll send them that. And, sometimes they don't like that. I have some team members, sometimes they don't like that. But seriously, my blog post might have a video or pictures, has a lot more explanation that's going to help them understand. And all they have to do is look at it, right? It's not like I can just say, oh, how do I get more customers? And just give a straight answer. Oh, well, talk to more people. That didn't help you, right? So sometimes the little bit of research actually is more helpful. And don't get me wrong, I love that my team is asking me questions, but sometimes it's just not the easy answer. And the truth is that you're going to learn how to do something a lot quicker and have a better understanding of what you're doing if you spend a little bit of time in research. So Heather says, but then when someone who was supposed to help you after you've looked everywhere to figure out and they make you feel like you're stupid. Heather, that's their problem. That's not your problem. That's their problem. They're wrong. They should not make you feel stupid. But what I'm trying to say is don't feel stupid for asking, okay? If they make you feel stupid, then I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Then maybe you need to talk to somebody else and disregard that person because that doesn't, yeah, you're right. You're right. They're wrong in doing that. So, okay, so let's see, where was I at? Okay, so, in more complicated circumstances, you might ask people how they would approach a situation that they're facing. So this is where, like, highly successful people are. They're more on the level of, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about making this change. What do you think? What do you think I might run into if I do that? Can you see the difference between that and how do I make this PowerPoint work? Or, so explain to them what you're thinking about doing and what your concerns are and how everything would work out afterwards. And then this gives them more context to use, meaning that they'll have an easier time to answer your question and you'll get a much better response out of them. It also opens a dialogue for conversation, so you can sometimes banter back and forth and come up with an even better plan. When you're thinking about asking someone a question, have a sort of systematically planned out and, have what you're going to say phrased in such a way that it's clear. Because the last thing you want to be going back and forth with someone, giving them not enough information to answer your question and then giving them more and more, just going back and forth, because then you're just kind of wasting everyone's time, right? If you have a question, make it specific and this is what I tried and this is what didn't work. What do you think? How would you handle it? You're going to get a lot better answer than just, how do I build online, right? So be upfront and be transparent, but also remain respectful and level-headed because you might not always get the answer you want. So let's see. I'm sorry. Okay, Lynn, all that you have to say is also helping me in my other business now that spring is here, which now that spring is here is picking up. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Pamela. Appreciate you. So, hey, being successful and being smart and being a good business person, and that doesn't mean that you don't get there by pretending that you have it all together. You don't get there by pretending like you know it all, right? It comes from being honest about what you don't know and what you wish you could be doing better and what you do to learn from those who are more experienced than yourself. High achieving people aren't know-it-alls. They just have a growth mindset. Their mind is open to learning more. And that requires the willingness to be wrong and to ask questions. So, as part of our constantly evolving society, you should take pride in your lack of knowledge and find a comforting humility in knowing that you have so much more to learn. We all do, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, in your business, or just in life in general. There's always something to learn, and there's always something we can do to better ourselves. So, I challenge you to stay curious, challenge the unknown, and certainly ask more questions. So, hey, now I'd love to hear from you. Do you tend to ask questions? Are you afraid to ask them? What thoughts do you have about that? I would love to hear what you have to say. So please get down in the comments below and share with me your thoughts. I would love to hear them. And so anyway, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Heather and Pamela, for being live with me today. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.